Welcome back to another Thursday on the Pagan Perspective. I'm your Thursday host, Yeka, and this week we're talking about connecting, or not connecting, with nature. So I'm really excited about this question. I love it. It comes from Kristen B., who writes, "Hello, I've been watching your channel for a couple of years now and have gained a lot from it. So thank you. My question is about connection to nature. I don't really feel anything when I try grounding and have attempted to work with plants several times without success. I'm allergic to pollen and I tend to love winter and fall best. Other than trees, I feel this sort of block or numbness towards nature. My pagan friends can talk for hours about their gardens, and I feel really out of place. Have you had a block like this? Or do you have any suggestions for getting rid of mine? Thanks." So of course, like any topic that has to do with a personal question, it's really hard to respond without being the person asking the question because of the whole context of an individual's life. But I can talk about have I had a block and kind of extrapolate from there. So starting off, I think that one of the issues that pagans face when trying to connect with nature, and really anyone, is what our idea of nature is. And I think that on a large scale, on a society level, our narrative about what nature is several centuries behind the current understanding of what it is. We have this sort of 19th century age of exploration, man conquering nature perception, this very strict hierarchies, although there clearly are hierarchies like trophic levels and whatnot in nature, or on the other side we have this Disney-fied, super anthropomorphized, idea of nature. And there's this very strong story about what it's supposed to be. And narratives are a way that I don't think there's anything, wrong with having narratives about the world and about how things work, because that's one of the primary ways in which humans understand the world, how we relate and understand reality. So I don't think there's any problem with that, but sometimes those narratives can get in the way if they aren't accurate, or if they're just a very small slice of the larger picture. And if we're focusing in on that slice and not seeing the rest of it, we can be missing a lot. So in terms of blocks, when I have experienced blocks with my relationship with nature, and actually not just with nature, with other people, right? In romantic or financial relationships or things like that, it's often been because I have been I've been projecting onto the situation. I've been trying to place this story, this idea of what it should feel like, what they should be like, what the relationship should be like, and haven't always left the space and room to let it be what it is. So that's where I have found blocks in my life. And when I have let go of that, or when I have expanded what my idea is, for instance, expanding my idea of what nature is, that nature isn't just, it's not this Disney Pocahontas story with happy animals and plants. Nature is much more. Nature is just talking about the different kinds of life. I mean, when we look around, when we think about animals, we're just thinking about this tiny, tiny slice of the many thousands upon thousands of animals that exist, let alone, thinking of the vast majority of life that is an animal. That's not even plant. We're talking about bacteria and archaea, looking at nature in that way. Nature is not just living things, but nature is also non-living things, or the relationship between living. Nature is the tiny patterns we see on this microscopic scale all the way up to galaxies and the way that they interact within the universe. So there's a lot to what nature is. So moving in more to your Kristen specific question about getting rid of yours, my suggestion, if this is what's going on, would be to first of all, be okay with if what you're connecting with on a seasons level is fall and winter. If you're not a spring and summer, or whatever your climate's, whatever seasons your climate happens to have, then that's okay, right? There's no rule that says that you have to like spring. Or the thing about spring that you could, when it is spring, you could be focusing on some other aspect that doesn't have to do with being outside and exposing your body to these cells that are causing harm for you, right? But yeah, so I guess saying really letting go of that and maybe expanding your idea of what nature is, and saying, okay, so I'm not connecting to this idea of gardens. It's great that they are, and maybe one day I will. Maybe, with more time that'll happen for me. But I do connect with the falling of the leaves. And you mentioned that trees were something that you connected with, so that might be a great starting point. Starting with trees, because you do have this connection with them. And from there, kind of, branching out to, okay, so what is the relationship that trees are having with, maybe from trees you could slowly move into soil because of the relationship between the trees and the soil, or maybe weather because of the tie that they have with weather, or something like that. And if the issue for you is similar to what it was for me, or can be for me, of trying really hard to make it something that it's not, just working on letting it be what it is, or sometimes letting go is really hard, so maybe just expanding that pie slice a little bit. So I hope that helps a little bit. I think this is an awesome question, and I'm really glad that it came up. So I'd love to hear in the comment sections if any of the viewers, if you folks have any comments on it, if that's a block that you've experienced, or any stories you want to share with us. Let us know in the comments, and until next week, take care.